Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly DLC. I'm one of your hosts, Karosh, joined always by my co-hosts, Daniel Vargas.
Hello.
And Daniel Jang.
Onigiri.
Never going to let him down.
I was about to say that.
If you're not familiar with what we do, we come to you every week for the past 86 weeks. And we sit around a table of various shapes, sizes, and forms. And we have some fun discussions of nerdy nature, comics, movies, everything in between. We usually bring a topic to the table, and we have some fun. We hope you have fun with us. If you have any thoughts for viewers that have been sticking with us, we'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to, if you do enjoy what we do, please leave a review or a comment or something on like whatever service you use. iTunes is always a great place. I would recommend. And yeah, with that, how have you guys been?
I have been okay. Because I bought fucking Destiny for PS4 again. God damn it. You were gone. You're gone, so I couldn't satisfy my craving of playing with someone. And then Roberto was there to fill the spot.
I knew it.
Roberto was there to fill the spot, you know? So I was like, Crush will come back. Crush will be back, you know? And you have not come back. You have failed me. You're back to PC.
Oh, you thought you meant
you
PS4.
I thought you'd come back, and I'd be like, I'll just run through with him, and he'll be back. And no, you're not back. You're on PC now for life.
You were with me. Yeah. You left.
You were on both. I just came in. I stopped by.
See what the vacation did?
Chaos.
Where's Cujo?
It's like that Wolverine picture. So, how are you enjoying it on PS4? Welcome to the Destiny AAA support meeting.
I realize it's harder to aim.
Yes.
Like now that I see a difference, it's tough.
Yeah.
Like there's
one solution.
I catch myself like aiming head level and then strafing to get the headshots.
Ooh.
But yeah, PC was like, it's a whole nother level.
When before my vacation, you and I played a little bit of Iron Banner, and we just dominated.
Yeah.
For like, it didn't even feel fair. I was like, it feels good to be back on PC. Like, it was just like kill.
It wasn't even like an hour. We got like 200 plus tokens. Iron Banner tokens.
I was like, this wasn't even fair. And then we lost one. I'm like, whatever. Win 8 more. I'm like, is this the best they have to offer? And like, it's just so smooth. Like, I was a Titan, so I'm just like charge, hit, insta kill, and then you would go in like
the Titan is still stupid as shit, man. Like, there's like Titans running up at me, and I like shotgun blast, and before my blast goes off, they're just like shoulder slam, and like I disappear into electricity.
I feel so good, Mr. Stark.
It's like a Captain Falcon, like
Falcon punch. Because they get like, I'm assuming you get like armor when you do the fucking smash. Because I've never killed a single fucking Titan slamming me. Like, and I have fucking
priority of damage. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's still trades.
That shit doesn't work, dude. Shotgun does not one shot these fools when they're in my face.
If you have that one shotgun that you saw,
3 shots before they even touch me.
Dude, okay, so this is when I felt like a guy. The way this game is balanced right now is some shotguns there's primary ammo, which is like your run-of-the-mill guns, still very useful. There's hand cannons, pistols, rifles, and such. Special ammo for certain shotguns and certain snipers and certain other ones. These are a little bit more heavy, but they take either a little bit more precision with like a sniper or with a shotgun more closer proximity. And then you have your heavy, which is like insta-kill, but you have to pick it up and they rarely drop ammo. The thing they've done with the special ammo or the special guns, like the shotgun I'm talking about, is they give you like very minimal ammo to start with. But players can drop it and you can pick up another 2 or 3 rounds. Yeah. And when we were playing, I had that really... There's a specific shotgun that's like God mode. Like this thing just quick rapid fire, and it gives you just 2 shells. Mm-hmm. But if I get a kill...
Is that a double barrel one, or is that the
it's the Aikilos one.
Okay.
It just rapid fires twice.
Okay.
So it's like boom, boom.
Oh.
Like a double tap. But you can do single fire, either one.
Gotcha.
So I'm running around, and the Titan class is very fast and very like melee focused. So I'm like running around meleeing people, And then when I'm not mailing, I'm doing a super, like, I'm up in a guy's face by the time he realizes I'm there. Shotgun blast, and like as I'm going through him, the ammo comes to me. I have another shell. I'm just running off of 2 ammo shells for the shotgun, and I've killed like 8 people. I'm like, I feel immortal. And then like when the new like super ability for the Titan is this like Superman, like electric Superman, like dive, and you fly in the air and you just land somewhere and you shockwave. So that's like my finale. I'm like, this is fucking. I feel over OP, and it feels good to feel OP. So anyway, going back, you feel okay?
Yeah. So I picked that up. What else did I do? Watched Mandy. I watched Mandy. Do you want to talk about it now? Or you want to talk about it later?
We can talk about that fuck shit now. Well, have you heard of this?
Yeah.
The Nick Cage movie?
So I didn't know it was like. For some reason, I thought it was like. It still kind of feels that way, but I thought it was a supernatural thing where he has to save someone, but like I thought he had powers and everyone in the movie had powers. Well, this is what I thought.
Sort of.
But I didn't even see anything about the movie. So I don't even know where I got this assumption from.
Oh, okay.
But I had this assumption. I felt like it was like a rescue thing. And then, come watch the movie, and it's some cult shit. Like
He lives in a cabin in the woods with his wife, and it's got a cult little group, and they take a liking to the wife and kidnap. And the movie kind of goes from there.
So it's like John Wick, but with the wife.
Very artistic, very impressionistic. So it's not very straightforward. Like there's a lot of moments where they're just like some dudes on LSD, and you're seeing things from their perspective while this cult leader is like telling you about these prophecies, and you're just like, what the fuck is going? And you're watching all this, and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah, the cult leader himself isn't right in the head, but he views himself as like
evangelical.
Yeah, he's like, I've been given powers. I can bestow upon you anything you need, but you must follow me.
Like one of the things that just jarred me was like, they get the wife and they're holding her down, and they put an eye drop in her, and she starts like tripping.
And I'm assuming it's LSD.
And then they take a jar, and there's like a giant fucking like alien looking bee or hornet,
like
and
wasp,
just stab her in the neck with it, just to, like more hallucinogenic. Oh, shit. And it looks like they have God, it just gets weird as fuck there. Yeah.
That scene though, where like he is just, and then she's like, "Did you make this song? Is this a song about you?" And then just the laughter, and he's just like
what the fuck?
"Shut up!" And he starts like, it was weird. Anyways,
but it's weird because the first they make it seem like they put him front and center Nicolas Cage. He's not really in it until halfway. Like it's a 2-hour movie. He's in it like there,
he sprinkles through.
He's not the figure of it until halfway point. And that's when shit took off. That bathroom scene. He's just like drinking. He's like,
oh yeah. That was
like
that was emotional. That's where you're like, he's back, baby.
Yeah, I was
Nick is back.
Nick is back. Just so go for it.
It was a really good movie.
You enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Like it's really strange, and I think it's really, really slow in the beginning. Like really, really slow. But then it picks up, and you're just like, you don't know where the fuck you don't know if this movie is going left, right, backwards, forwards, through third dimension, dude. Yeah. Fucking shit, dude. It's a spiral of craziness. And then I didn't watch till the end. Like I guess there's end credit scenes.
A little. It's not much.
But it's still like 4 seconds, but it's very significant because it shows drawings.
Okay.
That depict her I guess what she's seen.
She
her.
was like sketching.
Yeah, because it starts the movie like with drawings.
Yeah.
And then it eventually shows those drawings. But yeah, it was.
Did any of it mean anything? Like I came out of this feeling like I experienced something, but none of it meant anything. Like it was just like that was a ride.
I do think I feel like the movie had like a linear plot point, like from point A to point B. It had something happened in the beginning. The movie proceeds through that whole thing to end, and there's an ending. I don't feel like the movie had a reason for it to exist. Like there's no like.
It just ends.
Yeah, it just ends, and you're just like, you know. Yeah, exactly. Like there's no fucking point for me to know the story.
How about that chainsaw duel? It's fucking like.
So I want to explain this scene. There's a scene where he's gonna murder someone, and he has a like this axe that he
He
made.
forges this like chrome out of World of Warcraft esque, like just one giant just piece unit axe that looks like something out of an 80s like sci-fi.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then as he's walking to this guy, he sees a chainsaw. He's like, that one instead. And he picks up the chainsaw, very small chainsaw, like
Just
a
a standard
8-incher chainsaw. And then he's trying to start it and it won't start. And then this guy like finally hears him and he picks up his chainsaw and he like pulls it out.
Here to the end of the table.
Yeah, it just keeps going out
Like
and out
Batman?
and out,
Joker?
and you're just like the movie. Everyone just starts cracking up, dude, in this movie theater. They're just like, oh my god, and he's just like one go, and it starts, and he's still trying to start his, and it won't start. It's such a weird movie. Dude.
And like he's fighting, like there's parts. So there, I won't say how they come up with the origins, but there's LSD, like sort of like. Have you seen Firefly?
Yeah.
You know Reavers?
Uh-huh.
They're like the equivalent of Reavers, but it's the reasoning or part of it
they're all
is
drugged out.
they're just they took an intense, overwhelming amount of LSD that now they're not right in the head and they're just feral, like something out of Mad Max.
Yeah.
And he's fighting one of them. They kind of like make out somewhere. He's like, "You're messed up." He's like, "I don't want to talk about it." Like he's not even like ignoring them or anything. He just kind of gets petty with them. He's like, "I don't want to talk about it," and he keeps fighting them.
There's a scene where the guy kind of one of those guys sneaks up on him, and he turns around, and his fighting cry is, "You ripped my shirt!" He starts fighting the shit out of this guy.
And
Oh
like,
my
there's
God.
a GQ YouTube video where he goes over all like I think it was in promotion for this movie. He's going over a lot of his other movies he's done, like Face Off, Con Air, and a couple others. And he talks about this movie, and he's like, "Yeah, originally he was approached in this by the director to play the cult leader."
Oh shit!
And he's like, after reading the script, he's like, "I connect more with the husband." And I feel like I could play that more. And the director's like, "No, I have more of a younger person in mind for that." He's like, "Okay, then I don't want to do it." Eventually, Elijah Wood was, I guess, with Nick Cage, and he's like, "I think you should play for this." And so he spoke with the director, got him back together, and they talked about it. And this time they approached it, I guess, differently or from a different perspective, and he did get the role. And I was like, "That's pretty cool." Like little, like just tidbit of like how that happened. But he's talking to him, and he's like, I saw where he was going with it, and then we were like, how we wanted to approach the combat in the movie, where like there's a point before and after a certain point, and he's like before or after that point, he's like, I wanted my character to behave more like psychotic and just off the wall. So he's like, I kind of wanted to capture like Bruce Lee, like when he's in an action scene, he's just like. And like I saw that scene and they did that. He's just like,
yeah,
and I'm like,
he's just like,
that was it. And he looks at the camera and then zooms up and it does the same cut. And I'm like, that was. Yeah. It's an experience.
And that's what the guy that rips his shirt.
Yeah. Don't rip his shirt.
That's all I gotta say.
But
enjoyable movie. I recommend it.
I don't know. I don't think it's like you could just recommend it to everyone.
It's weird. It has nudity. Like, don't like.
It's got
not for kids.
It's
an older adult movie. Like,
well, even then, like I feel like if you're queasy about a lot of the violence,
that's true. It's gory.
It can get on the campy gory side, but still like it's in your face.
It's true. It's true. I still recommend it to everybody. Other than that, what else did I do? Still playing World of Warcraft. Still going.
Are you?
Not very strong. Maybe not soon. I mean, I got 6 months. Don't worry about it.
Which Daniel are we talking to today?
It's like split.
No, I'm more like yay. No, I'm just kidding.
Yandi.
What else did I do? I'm trying to think. I don't think I haven't done anything. I just watched that movie. Did I play anything else? No, that was it.
Jay?
Indies.
You're the indie streamer, bro.
Oh my god.
Hey, I envy you. Play whatever you want, dude.
Yeah, I know, dude.
I saw your library. You were like, dude, guys, look at this. And I was like,
I bought more, dude. I just bought Pandora's Box, dude. You're not
Is that
gonna
a new
guess.
game?
No. Like I opened Pandora's box.
Oh.
Of indie
Guess what I
games.
bought? What indie game would take a lot of time to play?
Destiny 2.
No,
That's what I was, he was like, "What indie game?" And I was
Stardew
giving him
Valley.
AAA title.
I bought Stardew Valley.
Oh my god.
We're gonna play Stardew Valley tomorrow because you know why? We're not gonna be playing Fortnite. I'm done. I'm done with Fortnite.
New
It
season, new Jang.
They didn't entice me.
What's funny though,
With
because
the
they
crossplay, they lost you, or was it
Just
other stuff?
I said I would only come back for items. Like even one good item, one good costume, one good dance. Went through. I saw the battle pass. Did not like.
and it's funny
any-
because they have like a whole new section of items now. They have pets,
Yeah, they have pets.
and he's like, "Nah."
Yeah. They don't look that great.
Okay.
And I was just like, except
get
for the
better.
chameleon. There was a chameleon.
They'll
I
get
wanted.
better.
They will get better, and that's when I'll come back. But
Okay. You
For
took
now,
a break.
Stardew Valley tomorrow, and then
Damn.
100
What have you been
platinum?
doing till then?
Into the Breach and Hyper. Light.
Tired ass arm.
Second fucking hardest thing I've ever done on a video game. First hardest thing I've ever done on a stream. This stupid challenge where you have to like do 800 dashes. I don't think I'll ever do it again. So I was looking at PSN profiles. How many people have the trophy? 200 people have that trophy.
Wow.
But how many people own the game? 200 people?
No.
But
That's like me with that Titanfall trophy. It's like a little bronze trophy.
my
You're a
nightmare, dude. My nightmare. But
Well, so why was that your nightmare?
The
There's a
metronome?
metronome?
so I needed a metronome to like figure out the timing, and it wasn't even exact. So it's not 240. People have said to use 250, 230, 240. They all kind of work because
What are
there's
you using it for?
so you to time the button press.
Okay. To keep it going.
But then the button press isn't the hard part. It's the direction,
and right?
Yeah, the direction part. So you have to be precise with both. So like,
God.
yeah. And then I realized my forearms still hurt.
You realize you didn't have enough practice.
After the first attempt, halfway through, I was going like this. I noticed this part started to get hurt halfway. So I tried to readjust, failed. So I failed miserably. But my arm is just like super, super sore. And I can't attempt it because it's just super sore and
I know what to get you for Christmas.
icy hot.
yeah, well, shake right there.
Yeah, I thought I had good forearms, if you know what I mean. But yeah, Hyperlight Drifter, Stardew Valley. I'm gonna pick up Mario Kart. I don't have it. Only
Hey?
because
Sunday.
Sunday there's like this LA game night that we're gonna go to, and they have all these kind of games, and I feel like that's a game that they're gonna play. So
Puyo. Come out of retirement.
I hope they play Monster Hunter, dude.
Why? You said I saw
No.
you do stream and you were like biggest regret. I was like, I should have clipped this.
That's why I need them to play Monster Hunter so I could play it.
Okay.
But Stardew Valley is tomorrow.
Okay.
Goodbye Fortnite.
Goodbye, Fortnite.
Oh,
And
I tried watching Stranger Things season 2. I fell asleep. Oh my god, I fell asleep, dude. Episode 6. I'm 4 hours away from finishing it.
You're so close.
I
There's
have
a comic coming out.
I fell asleep.
If it was a book, if there was a novelization of season 2, would you read it?
No, I want to watch it.
I have a coworker who was like, "Dude, you should watch Iron Fist season 3. I think it's on right now." And I'm like,
Season 2.
"Season 2."
Daredevil season 2.
I want to see Daredevil if it's good.
So he's
I
saying
think it's gonna be
he's saying Iron Fist season 2 is like it's redeeming itself.
Significant better.
Yeah, significantly better.
just-
And he's like, "You should watch." I'm like, dude, I still have like Stranger Things. He's like, "Nah, just wait for that. Like, wait until season 3 comes out
Who's
to
this
watch."
person?
He's my manager.
I'm going to talk to your manager. I'll be like, I need to talk to your manager. And I'll have like a haircut.
He always walks in and he's like, "Watch this show." I'm like, "Nah, bro." I just-
Stranger Things.
The only thing that confuses me about Daredevil season 3 is why is he in that black costume? What happened in season 2?
Season 2, he has it. He has. The
I know
other
season
one.
2 that person dies and comes back and then
Well, he has the new costume. I think it's just him going back to where he started. I think that's the symbolism
and
of this.
did you see the picture for The Boys? The comic book, The Boys?
No.
Well, look it up. It's going to come out on Amazon.
Okay.
But then 2 trailers came out.
Nagini?
Dark. Oh, I didn't see that one. Dark
Ooh.
Phoenix and Creed 2.
Dude, Creed movie of the year. That is
Creed
From a trailer?
I'm so stoked. For
I don't
this.
know, man.
Ivan Drago.
I don't know. No, part twos of movies
know.
You know,
always suck.
I
so
know.
I rewatched.
It's not even Ryan Coogler in this one.
I rewatched Apollo Creed versus Drago original fight. Rocky should feel so fucking guilty because he had the towel. They're like, throw in the towel. It goes, or his friends like, throw in the towel. And Rocky just doesn't throw the towel. I was like, fuck, dude.
He got his though.
Yeah.
Drago punched the fucking like in the trailer. He's like,
Oh yeah.
he's broke things in me. I still aren't fixed. And I'm like, but the way they just montaged it, I'm like, they're getting the montage right. I'm stoked for this.
See, but someone else does the trailer as opposed to who actually cuts
I
the
know.
movie.
DMX has a new song.
That DMX song was so.
Dude.
Yeah, it
the
matches
first-
up with the song.
He did the song for the trailer, but in the first trailer, it was the I got loyalty.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, man, they're killing it with the trailers. I don't feel like they can do deviate by too much for this. Like, I know it's a different director. It's not Ryan Coogler. But I think it's still in good hands. And I think Stallone, he's a passionate enough creator that I don't think would attach himself to this unless he was invested in and thinks it's a quality thing. So I think it's going to be at least good. I'm hoping for good.
What about the Dark Phoenix? You guys watch it?
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
about
it was.
I didn't
dumb.
care. I didn't care for it.
It's dumb.
It feels like how DC does with like we're getting to the Justice League. It's like they're trying to just rush through all these things. The only relationship I was literally just talking about this with Katie before this podcast. I think the only relationship in this like young X-Men that I feel like they've built and kind of like kept going well is Xavier and Magneto. That's one of the few ones that I like. It feels good. They have a click.
Yeah,
they have
that
a connection.
bromance.
There's a conflict, but a care, and it captured a lot of what Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen did. I'm like, everything else just feels like we gotta get to this next big event. Why? No one gives a shit.
We gotta get to the chopper.
Yeah, yeah. I don't give two fucks.
And I didn't watch Fantastic Beasts.
Oh,
Oh.
I
just saw the picture.
So the other trailers, I was like, it's gonna be good. I like the last one just because I like the magical lore and the world that they explore. This trailer got me really hyped. Like the way the music was going, it was like when music gets good, when they get orchestral, like on point, very impactful, intense moments. I was like, they're not as much. I mean, there's stuff that's like, okay, this is connected to the Potter films, but I feel like it's taking and expanding in its own little like pocket of time and region and stuff. So I'm excited. It's almost Halloween time.
And
This is
the Venom trailers.
I mean, I'll see it. I like Tom Hardy, but I'm not like hyped.
I'm more interested in watching Dark Phoenix than I am Venom.
What?
No way. Not
Venom
for
looks
me.
better than Dark.
Yeah.
I think they did a bad job with the trailer on Dark Phoenix. But I also don't care for both movies.
Okay.
But I would be more interested in Dark Phoenix because I care more, I guess, about that franchise than I do the specifically just Venom. Because I haven't kept up with Spider-Man at all. Like other than Homecoming, not Homecoming. Well, I did watch Homecoming, but like I'm more interested with him within the MCU verse rather than the.
They're still leaving it open that this could connect to that.
Yeah.
So I like Tom Hardy. That's my big push for this. Okay. Anything else? I've been doing quite a bit.
You survived.
I survived
Survive
the grind.
the grind.
Fucking Mordor. That's what it felt like.
Grinding all night long. All night long. Oh no.
It was the toughest hike I've ever done, and I'm proud that Katie and I did it. I was like, "Fuck, we did that." That was like when we came out.
And where is this grind?
We went to Vancouver for our anniversary.
Okay.
6 years now. And
Congrats.
Thank you.
And still not married.
That's how we choose to roll. We're a fire team.
Now I'm bringing it up because where did I read it up? Divorces are down like by a large margin.
You're welcome, guys.
But it's also they're also. I mean, there's debate saying like it's because people aren't marrying anymore. Like they're just staying together forever, but they're just not getting married anymore.
What's up with that?
The tax benefits, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying
I
you
know,
should rush. I'm just saying like in the
general.
article.
Yeah. That
Why,
is
if you're
a
gonna
pro.
stay forever, then just
There's
get
a
married.
benefit to it.
And
right?
then ages 55
Katie's,
and
like,
up,
listening to it like
and then ages
Superman.
55 and up, like divorce rates are like skyrocketing.
Really?
Apparently. Yeah.
They're just like I ain't
I'm
dealing with this
done
shit
with
anymore.
this.
Yeah, so that's why I brought it up. But
Okay. Yeah, no, 6 years, we're pretty happy. Got many more to go, so
Nice,
I'm excited
nice.
about that. I like that. Our trip it started off a little bit on the rough side just because I don't think we anticipated the amount of time. Like, we packed our day with activities and events and places to see, but we didn't anticipate the time of using public transportation to get to those places. We thought it could be very quick and snappy. I guess from prior experiences, it's been pretty easy. But they don't have Lyft, they don't have Uber.
Whoa.
It's taxi or like buses and
Holy
then
crap.
like figuring it wasn't arduous, but it was just like we did a hop on hop off bus, and then when we did it, we were like, okay, it's on a loop, and so we'll just wait at this stop. But when it showed up, there was an overwhelming amount of people at that stop, so they filled a bus. And we're like, okay, well, what do? We got to wait for the next one. And we're like, the next one filled up. So then they were like, we got to send in an emergency bus to fill up that's empty.
Wow.
And then so it just threw off all our schedule. Anyway, after a day or two, we're like, we should just rent a car. Like, this is probably a good call. And we did, and it made the night and day difference in terms of like how much our comfort was. And we're like, this is a vacation. We should enjoy ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, we learned a lesson there. We did do like a day trip to Victoria, which is on Vancouver Island. And that one was another lesson in that it was like an hour from the bus to the ferry. The bus there wasn't like one spot where the bus picked everyone up. It was going to each hotel.
Oh my god.
And there's like maybe one or two people at each hotel. And so it's spending all this time getting everyone. Then it's taking 40 minutes to an hour to get to the ferry. Then the ferry was an hour and a half. And then off the ferry was another hour. And then we had 2 hours at that spot. And they're like, all right, back on the bus, another hour to get to the other spot. They're like 2 hours. Before we knew it, it was like 5. And they're like, we have an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you can go. And we're like, we spent more time on these buses and ferries than we did like doing anything. So, like, maybe next time we should, these day trips and these like planned kind of like you hit all these spots, pro con. That was a lesson learned there. It's like it's a full package, but there's a give and take.
You get no time.
Yeah. But when we were doing our own thing, we went to like the forest. We went to there's a place called Stanley Park, which is their like central park, and it's beautiful.
They have
Like,
the Stanley Cup there and everything.
Yeah. Stanley's there with his cup. No, they have it like around it. You take a bike and you just pick it up, and it's pretty cool because it's like those public bikes where you just like pick it up, drop it off at another spot.
You don't have to pay.
You do pay. It's like an app.
Okay.
But it was like a few bucks. It wasn't much.
Okay.
And then we did that. Very scenic, very beautiful. And then we did this hike on like the last day. Jesus. It was like an existential crisis. Like as we're going, we're like going through the 7 stages of like grief and acceptance.
But you know what makes a good relationship work is going through hardships. So
We
you
came
guys
out of that.
life and death.
Stronger. That bond, titanium chains now. You know.
I was like, I might need an apple. It was the best call I made. We were like 3/4 up, and that last fourth might not sound like much, but goddamn, it felt like an
Celeste.
eternity. Yeah, and like we're like, we need this apple now, so we have it, and it was like going from 0 HP to full HP. Like, oh, let's do this.
It's a high potion.
Yeah, it felt, and we were split it. Yeah, so. Man, we did it, and like we were like, we're getting fucking shirts. Everyone's gonna know we did this.
Sensu beans.
Sparta.
Yes. It was cool. And then we took a gondola down.
Which is the chillest thing ever.
It would have been if it didn't break down before
Oh,
we went,
shit.
and the line was long. And then apparently people have been like, they did another tour group for this,
Yeah.
where they just bring people up so they can see from the top. And I'm like, you guys didn't deserve that. And it's mostly like, I mean, I'm saying this kind of like elitistly, but it was mostly elderly. And
Yeah.
I'm like, they get priority. I'm like, bitch, I should get priority. I fucking did
My
this.
legs hurt.
I
You're
can't
like,
walk. I'm like,
You're like Uncharted. Take off your belt.
but they eventually fixed it and they packed us all in. Like everyone was jammed packed with these suckers.
So, yeah,
But we got down in like 4 minutes. I'm like, that took 2 hours. Fucking fast travel. This is what fast travel means. But then on the way back, or no, not on the way back. Yeah, on the way back, actually, I read a lot of comics. So I read all of Mr. Miracle by Tom King. He's been doing the recent Batman wedding story that's been happening.
Death Threats.
Mr. Miracle, fucking good.
I heard
really
good
goddamn
things.
good.
I hear good
There's
things.
one issue left. I got it.
Does it have to do with miracles? Like just good shit happens to
Well,
him?
it's just like so Darkseid is like, you know, Darkseid in DC.
Yeah, the
Laser
rock.
Eye, Rock guy. He's essentially like DC's Thanos for all intents and purposes. There's a bunch of other like new gods, and they're sort of like the Thor, Asgard. Like these guys exist above everyone else. And one of them is Mr. Miracle. He's on one side, and there's the other side, which is Darkseid's side. And he on Earth makes a living by just being like a performance artist. He's just like, I'll do a miracle. You guys watch it, and he does like his superpowers, and he gets out of it. But people are like amazed, and that's how he makes his money. But it shows him through the mundane and through this war stuff, and it's like, I don't know. It hits a certain note that I'm like, it's both magical and like real at the same time, and it's really good. And then I caught up on Saga. I got chills. There's a point.
Are they multiplying?
They're multiplying, dude. They've made a point, and I think you know about this, where they're taking a year off.
Yeah.
The writing team. They're like, we have many, many more stories, arcs planned for this, but we're taking a year off to just recharge and everything. We think this is the right decision. But that note that they leave on was the biggest fucking like sad and emotional.
Someone dies. I mean, that's what they market it as.
Yeah.
Someone dies.
Yeah, but they pull every fucking turn on you, and it's a gut.
Brian
punch.
K. Vaughan is
He's
a
gut
good
punch.
writer, dude. Fuck, dude.
Now another one that it's like independent that I was like, I'm wearing off of, but I want to see what it is Walking Dead. I caught up on that, and it feels like
That's a lot. I feel like that's a lot to catch up on.
I read a lot. I was just like reading. I caught up on Walking Dead, and they take it, I guess, in a sort of a new direction, but it's.
But their group that they meet, I don't understand why.
Have you been?
I kind of know, but the group that they met, I don't know why they haven't met a group like that sooner. Like it makes sense.
Essentially, like I'm not spoiling too much. It's essentially another big organized community.
Very organized. Yeah, very organized.
And their philosophy is very different. And I'm like, how many more times can you do this? And at this point, the conflicts you're dealing with just feel like you're back in civilization. It's just kind of hit refresh. I don't know. I think
the way they're gonna end it is, you remember Watchmen, that Black Freighter, that mini story where the guy, he goes through all this horrible shit, and then he finally goes home and he realizes he's so used to the old. I think that's what's gonna. Legend too. Yeah, so that's gonna happen to Rick. He's just gonna be like, no, I'm used to the outside, like the savagery, and he just leaves. Yeah,
I can see that, because every time he comes up with these other civilizations, he's like, that's not how we do shit. We fucking roll deep. And like,
I'm gonna do it my way.
He's got one hook arm, and he's like, I feel like he's gonna be the villain in one of these arcs. Like you're gonna see it. Like they should start it where another group comes to their group, and you're like, what is this person?
So you tell me it's that cliche where it's like you live long enough to see yourself a villain. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Yeah.
Is that where this fucking thing's going?
The philosopher Harvey Dent. Yep.
But they're gonna kill him off in the show.
Yeah, he's gonna be directing, or like he's gonna be part of the production instead of.
Interesting.
So that was one of the ones I was like on.
You finished all that and you're like, not worth it.
I mean, it was worth it because I do enjoy keeping. I've been with it for so long. I do want to see it through, but it wasn't the way I was captivated as I was with Mr. Miracle or Saga. And then we've been watching The Good Place. It's good. It's solid. We're going back to next gen now that we're like back from our trip. And like we want to go to this voyage.
Yeah.
But I'm getting in the Halloween mood, so I'm like going through all these like
Halloween
fantasy and like Harry Potter. Like that trailer got me hyped. I'm like, I kind of want to revisit the Potter movies. And this hike that we did, and I was speaking of Lord of the Rings a little bit. I'm like, it's time for some Lord of the Rings.
Another fucking hike, dude.
No. Yeah, a long fucking hike. So I started last night, actually.
3 hours.
The extended
5 hours.
I started it. I'm still in it, the first of the 3. And I've never watched the extended one.
I could never pause in between a movie. I can't stop a movie and be
I've seen these
I'll start
movies
tomorrow.
thousands of times that I can do it.
Yeah.
Like if it was any other movie, if I could do it with Star Wars, I could do it with Potter, I could do it with this. If it was like, I don't know, Big Lebowski or something else, I'd be like, I want to start and finish this.
Yeah.
But Lord of the Rings, I'm like, I know what's gonna happen with Boromir. I know it's one does not simply but I'm enjoying it. I'm like I'm soaking it back and all, and seeing it with new eyes because I saw a lot of it. I'm like, when I was younger, it was very comedic and very, all over the place. Now I'm looking at it, and I kind of see it with a new lens. I'm like, in my head, the gears are turning because I know Amazon is doing a series run of The Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, these actors are like, I don't know if I can see anyone else besides Ian McKellen playing Gandalf.
Nicolas Cage was supposed to be Aragorn.
I was thinking about that after fucking Mandy.
He's fucking in everything. God damn. Superman,
he almost
Batman.
Neo. He was gonna be Neo. He passed that out.
Good.
Brad Pitt passed up on 7. Denzel Washington passed up on Brad Pitt's.
Tell you right now,
role in 7.
if Nick didn't pass up on Matrix, we wouldn't have John Wick. Tell you that right now.
We just have John Wick with Nick Cage.
But we would have had a Bill and Ted Street.
But like, I'm thinking about it, and I already have a few ideas of how they could do it, where it's not like just a rehash of what Lord. I mean, the story is the story, but doing it within a new vision. And part of me is like, it'd be really cool, and this is just early thought, of if they did sort of Band of Brothers style, where each episode is like it's a long episode, but it's like the journey.
Mm-hmm.
But you get a little bit of backstory. It's sort of like Lost, where they do a flashback of that person and their like their pathos and their struggle leading up to this point. So you could see, like, for instance, Boromir. You could have one of the backstories on him being like his struggle at Gondor with his brother, with his father. His brother thinks he's the chosen one, but he's like, no, like, father has a hard time with me too. And then how he takes it out and how he's greedy and all the stuff he does with the group. And then, like, the hardships of what they're currently dealing with, I think could be cool. But, like, I see it, these movies, and I'm like, man, I remember being those times. I remember the Lord of the Rings games. Those were the fucking best games. I've missed them. Anyway, Destiny, been playing that. And then, so I played a lot of Iron Banner. The last thing I'll say. And now that I'm watching Lord of the Rings, I'm like, I want to play my Switch because I can just watch it and, chill and play my Switch. So I was kind of switching between indie games, and then I was like, you know what? I could feel like an Octopath right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm cooked on Octopath right now. Like, it's perfect because I can just, like, do a little turn-based. I'm skipping all the story. I don't give a fuck about the story. I'm just like, okay, am I high enough level? Okay, go to the next account. Because the combat is very satisfying. Yeah. And I'm figuring out what the game cycle is for that, where it's like, my guy right now is the bookkeeper, or the book savvy guy or whatever. Yeah. And he has one of his abilities where you analyze the enemy, and it tells you one of the 5 weaknesses. So after I'll like defend, analyze, take a bunch of hits, heal myself, and now that I know all their weaknesses, I've stored up all these like bonus points, and I just go, yeah, I do that, and I just combo it up. And I'm learning how to combo. I'm like, okay, I'll do a hit to get their shield, and then once I get the break, I'm gonna fucking spam this combo and just go to town on this one. And then I can work on the next one, and then I got enough for the next one already. And I'm like, okay, I think I can get in the hang of this. But it's very much Pokemon in the sense that I'm like, I would go in circles just so I could get a level, and I'm like, all right, now I'm ready to fight this boss. So with that, let's jump into topics.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's start with Mr. Last Boss over here.
Mr. Young.
So
Mr. Metronome.
What got recently announced was a PlayStation Classic following Nintendo's recent success, which NES Online.
God damn it.
Stupid NES.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say about that. That was the last thing I was gonna say. I know we talked about the Nintendo service. I got it before the trip.
Okay.
And I was actually pleasantly surprised because I was like, I'll get it. It's cheap. It's for a year. It's $20, so it's like over a year. It's not too much. Just because I was curious what games are going to be covered, and it covers pretty much every game except for Splatoon and Fortnite. Like, all my other games, I could back up. The thing that was annoying was I had to manually back up. I'd be like, back up, down, back up, down.
Oh, that sucks.
Which is, the first time I did it sucked, but after that I was set. And because I was like, if I go on this trip, I don't want to lose all my shit. And just for that alone, I'm like, okay, this is my insurance now. So I just want to say that real quick. Because I know a lot of people were like, oh, the NES Online thing.
But play River City Ransom. That's a good game.
Okay. Anyway, you go back to your topic.
So the PlayStation Classic was announced. So I think the first 5 games were announced. There's going to be 15 more. So we need to come up with the list. What do you think should be on the PlayStation Classic?
Anyone want to start?
So the ones we know are Final Fantasy VII, Wild Arms, Ridge Racer, Tekken 2 or 3.
I don't.
And then some. I forget what the last one was. But those are the ones. I just wanted to lay those out so we don't pick. We don't.
I want to start. I want to start with the one that Kurosh says no one's gonna say.
I don't think you guys are gonna get this.
Dino Crisis. No. Damn it. All right, so Dino Crisis. It's I didn't own a PlayStation for very long. I ended up giving it to family in Mexico, and then the next time I visited, it became no. I'm sorry. I had a Sega.
Okay.
I had a Sega, and I ended up giving my Sega to my family in Mexico. And then the next trip I came back, they sold that shit and got themselves a PlayStation.
Okay.
And then that's where I got to play the PlayStation. And Dino Crisis was one of them. I couldn't beat the shit out of it because I was vacationing there for like 2 weeks or whatever, so I couldn't beat it in 2 weeks.
Time. This is what motivated you to become such a quick.
Because it gets to a point where it's like I have no fucking clue where to go anymore. Like this door isn't opening up. This door says I need this key, and I don't even know. There's a fucking T-Rex over there. I can't even kill him. You know. But yeah, Dino Crisis is a really enjoyable one.
Okay. I want you to give a guess at what you think mine is.
It's a wrestling game.
No.
Okay, then I don't know. So I'm gonna pick my pick. You said Dino Crisis. I think they're gonna pick their most famous survival horror, which is Resident Evil 1, is going to be on it. Classic.
Can that one be the last one?
Sure.
So we can
okay.
keep it
Oh,
tempting?
okay. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
That's
you
cool.
know,
That's fine.
Resident
I hope that's a good one. I wasn't sure if they were going to announce it for it or not.
Wasn't Resident Evil 2 on that one
Yeah,
too?
2 was on there.
Oh shit! Then
I would
I
do
don't think
two.
they're gonna.
two.
I don't think they're gonna do another Resident Evil. Then. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the remakes that they've been doing have been throwing me off. Like they did the Crash trilogy remastered. I'm like, would they do Crash on this because this remaster is recent, or would they do another Crash? So I picked Crash Team Racing.
I think they would.
It's a way to satisfy the Crash fans that wanted it in the remaster, while also giving us something where it's Crash related.
I think they would do just the regular Crash because they would already have like licensing or whatever for it. Like,
Well, they do. I'm just saying in the sense that like people just played it on the, and it's like not a draw. I don't think, but I don't know.
so this one would have to work if they somehow can make it online. Diablo.
Was it on the first?
It was on the first.
It was.
It was on PlayStation 1.
It was on PlayStation.
The original Diablo. was on
Okay, that's out of left field. Where'd you?
I'm gonna guess yours, but it's not my pick. Final Fantasy Tactics, but I don't think
Really?
it's gonna.
That
be,
was gonna eventually be on my thing.
We got a list over there.
I do, but
But-
it's like a pre-made thing.
My pick is. I guess he's kind of a mascot. He's not really. Who would you say Crash is the mascot of Sony? Right?
Yeah.
Spyro.
Oh,
Spyro.
No.
But they're also doing the
Parappa
rap.
Oh
rap.
yeah, that's a
Punch
good one.
kick.
Yeah,
It's all in the
damn.
mind.
I played that shit too, man.
All right,
Hell
Final Fantasy
yeah.
Tactics. If they have that on there, I'm buying this thing. Even though I don't know if I would play it on there, but I would.
Really?
I mean, I have it on the Vita. I feel like between the two, I'd rather play on the Vita, but
That's true.
I want to support Tactics. I feel like it's a missed Switch, man. This should have been on Switch. Okay, back to you.
There is a fighting game that I always enjoyed,
Virtual Fighter.
and I could never find. I mean, I could eventually find it, but like it was always part of like it had different game likes in it. It was like a meme cabinet or a meme cabinet.
Yeah.
But it was Samurai
Showdown.
Showdown. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's on Switch right now, I think.
they're making a new one.
Yeah, they're
Boom, boom.
redoing it. Yeah, they're redoing it. It looks like almost like Soul Calibur, like that type of 3D.
There's like a bundle right now on Switch where it's part of it.
Oh, how
Yeah.
much?
I don't probably $20 at the most.
Capcom beat 'em up.
There was a couple other ones that was like, I play these. I used to play these in arcade cabinets at like the pizza parlor.
Yeah.
So you brought up fighting game. I'm gonna say Street Fighter Alpha 2. They're gonna put a Street Fighter.
I don't know if if Capcom will let them, just because they just did the Street Fighter like collection of all the ones. That's the only thing I see being a hold on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with one of the other mascots of early Sony. Triangle boobs, Tomb Raider, classic. Those polygons, bro.
This is when I first got when you first said
Topic.
your topic. The first game that popped in my head because it's a game that I've generally played on every system that had came out. Grand Theft Auto. I'm sorry, not Grand Theft Auto. Gran Turismo.
Oh,
Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
I've always been like a huge fan of the games, and then I'll buy it, play it, and be like, I fucking suck at this, and never touch it.
So my experience with PlayStation 1 was it was my uncle's, and I was like, PlayStation's an adult console because it's my uncle's. And he had Ace Combat, and he had Gran Turismo. I'm like, I'll try Gran Turismo. I'm like, reverse. Bumper. I'm like, man, this isn't like Mario Kart or like Need for Speed or Cruising USA. I was like, this is a simulator.
No, this was an adult game.
Yeah.
So you said Gran Turismo. I think they will bring up a racing game, but it's gonna be Wipeout.
Ooh.
Wipeout will be in it.
My next one. Which one do I want to say? I mean, I think it's not a racing game. It's a car game. And it's the only car game that should be on here. Twisted Metal.
Damn. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's gonna be on
I was gonna
for
say
sure.
Vigilante.
It's gotta be.
Vigilante.
The Vigilante was on N64 and Dreamcast.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I don't know if it was on PlayStation.
I think you're right. So this is a game that I didn't own a PlayStation. I bought this game on PlayStation because I was a huge fan of this cartoon. Dragon Ball GT. The fighting
That was
game.
on PS1?
It was in PS1.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. And I think I ended up trading that one in with a game that I thought at the time was Japan exclusive, but I have an English version of it, so I don't think it was. And it's another Dragon Ball Z game. It's called I don't remember the name of the game, but I still own the physical copy.
Well,
I have it at home.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, Dragon Ball GT.
They're announcing this for the PS4, a remake. I don't know if it's not a remake. Remaster. Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Let's go on. I'm gonna go with a game that we haven't seen from like this style of game in a while. Tony Hawk.
Oh. What number are we in, by the way?
I don't know. I'm just going through what I have. And if you haven't,
I don't know what number we're on. But this is a game that you started the story.
Kurosh.
And I don't know if
you're saying the video captures it, but the audio.
Yo, you're right. Yes. You pointing at Kurosh started this saga. And I don't know how far into it you are. Metal Gear.
Yep, it has to be. That's gonna be on it for sure.
I'm
still on
partially
Metal
through two. I think I'm just going to YouTube. I don't know.
It's better because
I was thinking about Red Dead, and I'm like, should I just YouTube the first one just to see what's up? Because I don't know if I want to get my PS3 out again. Okay, Metal Gear was on mine too. Jane?
I know they said Resident Evil 2, but I think Silent Hill is gonna.
That was the other one.
I think it's gonna be on there.
Okay.
Should be on there.
I would agree. Oddworld.
Oh.
I remember they don't make those games as much anymore, but I remember liking
I
that.
have one on PS4. Like it was a
okay.
PlayStation Plus, and I haven't even installed it ever.
What's yours?
I got to go with an RPG, a classic, everyone's all-time favorite, other than Final Fantasy VII.
Or Tactics.
Or Tactics. Or 6. Or 8. Chrono Trigger.
It's on everything. Might
It's
as
on
well be
everything.
on this.
Yeah. Just, mobile version.
I wonder if Nintendo, if there's going to be any challenge, because they put that, I believe, on the SNES Classic. Okay, I put Spider-Man OG.
OG?
Just because it'll be like hot off the. People could compare.
This will be my last one. There has to be a shooter, and Vargas has talked about the shooter. SOCOM. Is SOCOM? Did it come out on the PS1? No, huh? I don't think so.
Yeah, it was. So the original SOCOM was PS2.
Then I take that back. There has to be. What FPS was it?
Splinter Cell. It wasn't like it's no
Splinter Cell
multiplayer.
was Xbox.
Really?
Yeah, that didn't come out until Xbox came out. So if it ever
The
came out
only
on PlayStation, it was
FPS I think of with PlayStation is Time Spoilers, but that was PS2.
Yeah. What about House of the Dead? Was that on PS1?
Perfect Dark N64.
I'm done.
I put SmackDown.
Ooh.
Just one of. There has to be one wrestling game. One of these fucking things has to do it. And then I have 2 more.
I got 2 more.
Okay, go.
I got the classic Frogger. They had like a 3D
one?
version.
Yeah, I remember that one. I played that on PC. Legend of Dragoon. I haven't played it. I know people talk the shit up.
I think I played it.
Your next one?
And then my last one is...
Oh, I have two more.
This is throwback.
Sorry.
Well, it's not a throwback because the game is the throwback, but this is in reference to your favorite type of games that just got announced by Nintendo, Harvest Moon. That was my last one.
I got Ace Combat because I mentioned it
Yeah,
earlier.
with your
That was a
uncle.
great game.
The adult
And
system.
then the final one I want to bring out is Soul Reaver.
Yes.
Legacy of Kain.
I played that on...
The first time I saw the show on G4 or Tech TV.
There was like Blood Raven or something like that too.
That might have been another one. Soul Reaver was the one I saw.
Mhm.
Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. It just had this art style that I was like, whoa, that looks badass. Like at that time, I was a young kid. And I remember seeing Adam Sessler review this on XSplit or something on Tech TV.
Mhm.
And I was like, whoa, game review shows. Like, this is some cool shit. So
Dude, those I feel like those shows thrived back then, and now they're just like unwanted.
they're on YouTube.
Internet, yeah.
Yeah, they just moved.
Attack of the Show isn't on YouTube.
No, I
No,
know,
but there are
like,
shows like
That whole thing's done.
IGN's got like 8 different shows that are like
Yeah,
parts of that.
but
like Up at
IGN
Noon. I'm just saying, like, they got one,
Copy.
everyone else
the
going.
cops. Sorry, dude.
Everyone's gone. Anyway, all right, next topic.
Next topic is Take Me to the Moon.
That is not the right topic.
Elon
Fly me.
Musk. I don't know. Well, you're taking me. You're not flying me.
Elon Musk is in trouble, dude.
He
Did
might
you hear
be.
about? Shit, dude.
All right, go for it.
We need to talk about that because I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so this has already been. This was a while ago that it was announced, like a week or two, I think.
Okay.
He was announcing who was gonna go, who bought like his ticket to go use his BFR big. What is it
Effing
called?
rocket.
Falcon rocket. I know what it's supposed to stand for. Big Falcon rocket that's supposed to go around, like travel from here around the moon and then back again. And he was like, I think it's supposed to carry more people. He sold a total of 10 tickets. One guy bought all the tickets, and now he's supposed to be inviting various artists. And so I want to figure out who these artists are. And we don't have to choose 9 artists. We can choose like a couple
I
random
think
ones.
I'm at 11.
That's fine. That's fine.
Damn.
I'll take some of yours. Now he wants to do different medias. He wants to do like a musician. He wants to do an artist that's painting wise, maybe sculpture wise, different ones. And he wants this is like the billionaire who bought the ticket. Okay. He wants them to do an art piece after the whole trip that is inspired by just seeing the moon, that close and being on this trip. So yeah, I just want to. What artist do you think could or should have a chance to go up? You can start, Crow, since you're so confident right now.
I want to first give the first spot, the first seat, to a special guest that was on our show, Andy Weir.
Ooh, that's actually really good.
The Martian. That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Fuck. All right,
Mic
that
drop.
ends the topic. All right, next topic is.
We're done.
God, how do I follow that, man?
How do
like
you?
every
You
other
show it.
question is just every other artist.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
So
that's the answer to everything.
mine's gonna go a weird direction.
Take us down this path.
Jim Carrey.
Ooh.
Okay.
He's been doing paintings.
Okay.
Mhm.
He's been trying to he's in a weird point in his life.
Okay.
He's I don't know what point he is in,
He's in some point.
but he's in some point, and he's been doing drawings, and I'd be interested to see what he would do. What do we create after this?
This guy, his album title is "Man on the Moon." Kid
Hey.
Cudi.
Kid
Kid
Cudi.
Cudi. Kid Cudi.
Okay.
He'll come up with some weird music.
Very good.
My second guy. He's the only man he's like my definitive man to go boldly where no man has gone. Patrick Stewart.
God damn it.
I think if anyone like that is, I don't know.
What medium would he like create art for.
He's about to play Captain.
Oh yeah, he
Captain
could.
Jean-Luc Picard again.
Yeah, he could totally like
But
new
even
character.
if he didn't, I think like just having embodied and inspired people through his portrayal of Jean-Luc Picard, and like what he's done with the Star Trek franchise and his, the cast, the crew, the writers. I would say if he can bring a +1, and I don't know if he's alive, honestly, because I'm new to the Trek stuff.
Yeah.
But I would like if he was alive, the original.
William Shatner?
No. Give me a second. The Trek fans I know are yelling at me right now. They're like, why did you say his name? Gene Roddenberry.
Oh, okay. He's not no longer with us.
Yeah, 1991. Sorry. Okay. I would have. There's a few people that I wanted. I wanted him, Gene Roddenberry, and Frank Sinatra, as some people. But Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
As one of.
So I wanted to add different writers as well.
Okay.
One of them specifically comic book related, and we just talked about him. Brian K. Vaughan. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he'd be someone very interesting. Seeing what he does, what he'd do, what he'd write after.
Okay.
I'm gonna cheat and put 2 people on this.
Oh shit.
They wrote an issue, a comic book about the moon. Lock and Key, Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez.
Okay.
When there's an issue where they go to the moon. That moon.
I technically have 3 comic writers. Technically.
Oh, I know one.
Yeah.
I know.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
my best. Let me call him up.
Grant Morrison. I think if anyone, like, he's talked about how like these big moments have influenced his life, and I think one of the big things he talked about with a lot of his like early creativity was the impact that the nuclear arms race did on his early inspirations, and like that idea of like finality and like everything about it. And I wonder what like an actual trip to the moon and into space would like he would come back with. CD.
I don't know, because I want to do like a book writer, but I haven't really thought of who I could take up.
I got a few.
And then the only person that can come up to my mind, because you've been talking about Harry Potter,
J.K. Rowling?
is J.K. Rowling. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like she'd be in a point where like if she was Ash, she'd be like, nah.
I could see that too.
I don't know why.
I could see it going either way.
Yeah. But she'd be one.
Okay.
My next one is not an artist or writer. I want the head person, that the figurehead of a flat earther, to go up there to just see it, because Steve-O explained it at the Joe Rogan podcast. Like, man, like he's been in like near like outer space, the boundary, and you can see the curvature of the earth. So I just want the #1 flat earther public figurehead to go there just to see him.
He'd go with something. Okay. Let me change it up. I think we should put someone to tell us what the flight's about. And who better than Casey Neistat?
Oh, shit. Blog the whole thing, bruh. That's a good one. Actually, that'd be good, because that brings modern day people to like the front.
Well, that's like immediate content created.
Yeah.
Right there. Like,
Well, I mean, I don't. He's
Like
obviously
you're
he's not
talking-
gonna upload while he's up
why
there.
not? With the new GoPro 7 that he just talked about.
Oh shit! Online connectivity
Well,
closer
I'm
to
not
the
saying,
satellite.
Like live streaming. I'm saying like in terms of people like taking this as an inspiring thing, he would take the journey and the experience of going and making it like just like how he does already.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one person. I got a few more.
My last one, because I wanted to have someone who can like do sculpture. I have no freaking clue, because I don't know a single famous sculpture that's alive today.
Me neither.
Todd McFarlane.
McFarlane action figure.
The guy that made Spawn. He's like all of his action figures are like the most detailed you've ever seen. I don't know. That's the only one I can think of.
I'll go with him. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I think because he would want to go, like he would enjoy it. Actually, I'm gonna put 2 people: Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think they would just enjoy it.
They should be the pilots. Or like the flight attendants.
Hold on to your butts.
Like the tour guides, they're like, all right, on your left, you're about to see Flat Earther. Pay attention to this. Okay. So is that your last one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do my last YouTuber, MKBHD.
Oh, shit.
Just to talk about the technology. I feel like that's another big point of
He
view.
like breaks down the rocket.
Vsauce.
And I had Miyamoto.
Mm.
I think he's been such a visionary.
Nintendo wouldn't let him.
I think that he'd be like, "Fuck, I am Nintendo."
Tries to throw the hat to the moon.
Turns it into Peach at Moon. Just Moon all of a sudden has big tits. Miyazaki,
Oh wow.
Studio Ghibli, just because he's always like, not just because he's such a great creator and he is also inspired by like in the industrial age and everything. I think this would be like both a treat and like a further inspiration to him and like what he would just like a final kind of. He's always done stuff about like flight. Like there's actually one of his movies is like something where he's talking about someone where they're trying to figure out like planes and flying and stuff. And I don't know. I thought that was a big one. And then I got Kojima. Just because that guy, like, he's like the gaming
That's
version of
good.
Grant Morrison.
A gaming developer would have been. Yeah, it's a good idea.
It is a good idea. I got 2 gaming developers: Nintendo, Sony. And then I got 3 more. Stephen King, just because that guy would write 8 books on the way there and another 10 on the way back.
And George R. R. Martin.
And only one of them would be
Fuck
good.
no.
You need to finish the books.
I know. Elon's like, no,
It's
because
like, you're staying on the moon if you don't finish it by the time you come back. Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
And last but not least, I wanted to pick someone who like is a big creative influence, is a big influence in society in the creative ways, but is also like I don't know how many more days they have.
Elon Musk.
And I was thinking thinking like
I know exactly what you're talking about.
a Stephen Hawking sort, but I was like, you know what, Stanley.
Yeah.
I think this would be like his opportunity to be like Mr. Fantastic. And like I think it'd be a cool thing to be like they named the shuttle or whatever.
Comes back to young.
Superpowers.
I think that would be a cool thing for him to experience. I would have wanted, if he was still alive, Jack Kirby, just because he did so much stuff with space as well.
Yeah.
And he was a co-creator with him. But yeah, Stanley I think would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And with you picking up the topic of Browsette, what's your name? Browsette? Bowsette. My next topic is gonna be who peachify everybody. Just who do you want to peachify?
Episode 69.
That's
Hideo Kojima. Doing.
Glasses all white.
Guillermo del Toro.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Okay, Nick Cage. Throw it out. just Mandy.
Wow.
My topic. We talked about. I was like on this trip of like this Mandy, and I was like, that movie. Like, if I just look at it just by like the synopsis and like what happened, I shouldn't have given a shit about it. But I came out of it like liking so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought of like you. I've been watching you play some of your independent games. I'm like, you know what? Let's go back to the independent stuff and talk about games and movies. What things about independent games and movies do we enjoy, and what games and movies best showcase those? So like, it doesn't have to be a lot. I only have like a handful of like attributes or things, and just a few of each games and movies that I want.
I don't have anything specific, but like more concepts. Like, I feel like when it's a big name studio, there are restrictions that people can do.
Oh yeah.
And when it's a small time, like there's last minute things like how it sounds like when you're underwater, you know, and stuff like that. But I think the freedom that
the creative freedom.
the creative freedom that they have, I think is one of the things that I enjoy.
Is there a big game that you just want to showcase that you would say has something like that?
I mean, the only thing I can think of now, I haven't given it much thought, but The Messenger, like when we were talking to them, he was saying that it was literally a last minute decision to change that underwater sound.
I think he didn't say last minute. I think it was just a quick decision.
A quick decision, and it obviously takes. But the guy was saying like it was just a little bit of extra code on there, but it was still like a decision that was able to be done, on the fly, and probably as a AAA company, they would have been like,
8 different
and it probably wouldn't have made it in time, or it just would have declined. Yeah.
Games and movies are different. I feel like independent movies, they like to try new things. Like, I'm going to say Reservoir Dogs was an independent movie when it first came out. Mm-hmm. The first 10 minutes, they talk about Madonna's like a virgin. Like, you don't see, it's like different. It's totally like a breath of fresh air. With games, it's more like just my experience with independent games, they're more like homages to previous games. They don't seem like it's like a breath of fresh air, but they seem more like homages, if that makes sense. Like a lot of them are Metrovanias, and they go back to old school graphics and old school music, and if that makes sense. Hyper Light Drifter is like a hardcore Zelda.
Right. Shovel Knight is a good example of that as well. I understand. There's a lot of those, and I do think that that's a valid point. I would argue that there are some games that have done things that I haven't seen old ones, and one of them, for instance, for me, is Journey. I don't think I think I don't see much of an inspiration with that. It feels like it's just like a artistic, it's an experience, and it's short and it's brief, which is different for a game, which are rare. Like most indie games tend towards what you're saying, which is like it's old but new. It's like old with a fresh take, which I like too, because it's like. I was trying to think of some games like that. Like we talked about Messenger. We talked. Fez was one I thought of. It's got like that 8-bit style, like just the tone of it. Like being 8-bit does so much, but when your ideas are new and creative and snappy, you try playing a lot of old 8-bit games. There's an input lag, or there's like a jankiness to it, and you're like, wow, I've been playing so many independent games now that these old games that they're paying homage to are not feeling good. But I watched like Trihex stream, and he was doing Yoshi's Island, and it looks so snappy. Like that's good. Like I wish games capture that. But yeah, I wanted to just bring up not homage independent ones or two. I like when they like go for raw and experimental. Like I think of Inside as one of those where it's just like it captures. And it's intense too. It's like raw and intense, where it takes one feeling or tone or whatever, and it really hones in on that. Whereas I think a lot of like not mass, but I should say like AAA, AA games, like these bigger games by bigger companies, go for like wider appeal. This is a game where it's like we have an artistic vision with this, and the art drives it more than the profits or sales. Yeah. Well, still, that's true about these games, but a lot of times, these are led more by the artistic vision than the. We need to make like X quota by this quarter or whatever.
For me, this is something that you're both kind of saying, but simplicity. We see like Faster Than Light, very simple, like. Pretty much turn-based combat, that you're able to pause the game, but it's not very it's not intricate in a sense of like there's so much going on, but like there's still a lot that you could mess up on. With Braid was it's just the time thing like they added, it's just
they're not trying to work with like 8 different mechanics. It's working with like maybe 2.
Yeah, exactly. It's a side scroller, and then time's involved. Like you can make it to where you're not moving, or you're moving, and then time the rest of the game's moving backwards, and you have to figure out how to do things. Limbo, there's just different ones. Limbo's the concept was so it's still a side scroller game. It's just you can't see yourself, like you're a shadow essentially.
Flower is another one. It's just a motion control. You're just like a pedal. That's
there was a game, like one of the very first games that really caught me, and it was a game called Flow.
Oh yeah.
You would just eat like
other microorganisms,
and you grow bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just like, and it worked fantastic, And it's like these simple games, and even now there's still like games that are multiplayer that are simple. There's a game called Slither.io, This is on PC. It's literally a snake game. You're playing against other people that are snakes, and you eat balls to get bigger. And then if you're a bigger snake, you can eat a whole entire person that's a snake, and then you just grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And you continue through that process. And there's an online scoreboard that's live, and it tells you like the current biggest person is this score, and you're like, I don't know where he is. And all of a sudden you see this giant thing. You're like, that's him. Holy shit! And you're trying to escape. Very simple. Very good.
The one bad thing about independent games is like you don't like the average gamer will not know. Like I didn't know anything about independent games. Like I'll hear some things about Super Meat Boy or such and such, but like I would have to actively research top 10 indie games you need to buy and be like, oh, I've never heard of this. Like there's a game called Tesla something. You play Nikola Tesla, and it's like one of the best Metroidvanias. No one's ever heard of it, but I saw it through a YouTube video. I'm like, I gotta buy this, and I'm going to buy it. But I'm just saying, like, that's the one downside of independent games. It's like word of mouth. I would have to hear it from someone or have to actively look at reviews.
The curation
top
is
10
because there's just so many.
Yeah,
I 100% agree.
I guess that's the same with independent movies too. It's very hard for independent movies to.
If you're not in like a big movie city like around here, where there's like 18 different theaters and you have your pick of where they could be playing, like in my old hometown, like if it wasn't in the home city, then I'm screwed. I'm not going to be able to see that weird independent movie.
Yeah.
I do like something about, but I think it applies to both. But I'm going to use movies as the example. A lot of times, the reason the creative teams are attached to it, or the actors or whoever, is because of passion, not because of the money of it. So you're like, okay, if they're interested because of there's something they're passionate about, I feel like they're gonna put an extra effort into this, or a bit more, the extra oomph to see this through or to make this happen. And I feel like there's something special when you see passion versus when you see something like, we're here to like sell you something. Like there is a balance. I'm not what's the word? Disregarding like games that are trying to make success and make money, because they can capture that, but I feel like it's less often. It's just like, here's another Marvel game, or here's another this, because that's like everyone loves Marvel and this. But they're like getting better at finding people that are also passionate about that and capture them.
Yeah.
But with an indie game, I feel like, why did this team make this game called The Messenger? Because they fucking love Ninja Gaiden, and because they like took that and like took their idea and like fused the two, and it's their project.
Yeah.
Or why is this one guy making The Witness? Because he like is so in love with puzzles and he wants to share this game that's like an intricate puzzle upon puzzles. And I love that. And movies too, like I think of like Pan's Labyrinth is one of, like, I remember there was a winter break where I saw just a bunch of like independent films, and it was like Pan's Labyrinth, Babel, and Children of Men. And those three fucking like mostly Children of Men and Pan's Labyrinth, but all three of those were made by amazing Spanish directors, and they were all like super passionate about these projects, and you could see that in it. And the actors and the cast and crew were super passionate about it too, and they're like, we want to make this special. Like it might not, and everyone might not see this, but the people that do will come out of this having felt an experience and gone through something. So I feel like that is more often than not captured with independent stuff. You get that emotion.
Independent comics have the freshest ideas. They're so good.
I feel like you could say that about games too. Like there's a lot of unique things, but yeah, comics definitely. Like I've noted, like Saga. Like I'm going through my list of comics that have my backlog, and I'm like, I don't want to read these 8 different Superman. Like I look through Justice League, I'm like, this is another fucking Justice League comic. Like I don't give a shit. Delete. And then I go to Saga, and I'm like, this is just like, this guy's taken this idea with his art, with the illustrator, and they're just so good. Do you have any independent comics that you want to shout out?
Saga.
Yeah.
That's the best I don't know how they didn't get nominated for the Eisners this year. Like
Really?
I think it should win every year.
Rigged.
He's already won the most.
Really?
He's like he's beaten Neil Gaiman.
Wow.
Yeah, he's won the most. So far.
Rigged.
Well, I remember for a long time, people were like, Robert, like anytime Walking Dead is around, like that should just be nominated all the time. And now I'm like looking at it, I'm like,
No.
it is not what it once was. And it once was like each issue was just greatness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. There's a lot of these like just offbeat stories that they're allowed, like they don't have to worry about continuity, and they'll be like, well, Superman did do this and that and this, so he's not allowed to do these things, and he's not allowed to do this, and he's not, and it's like, even if it's an Elseworld story, it's really cool because they can take a character and be like, we don't give a shit about continuity.
Mm-hmm.
We do our own thing.
I mean, even like
And
something.
it's like a freedom.
I think Authority. That was the JLA.
Mhm.
That was the take on JLA, where
Mhm.
Superman and Batman are a gay couple. Like, dude, that's just like super fresh, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know.
What's the other one? Irredeemable.
Yeah,
Mark Waid. It's essentially
Superman.
like if Superman got fed up with people one day and he just was like, I'm sick of your shit. Really good story. And it's like what happens at that point.
Does he kill people or he just doesn't care? It doesn't protect
A
anybody.
little bit of both.
Oh.
Well, like, and then you eventually, the thing is, he doesn't just stop there and just make him just like, he's like, you
He
see it from the
conquers
other
worlds.
point of, you see from the other people's point of view where it's like the other superheroes are banding together to fight against them. And there's like a Mr. Fantastic character. And he takes it, like, that guy is like, why do you keep thinking you can outwit me? Like, I can hear you. And he's omnipotent. He comes and grabs him and he's like, look, I've caused 18 different problems. Go solve them. That's what I deal with every fucking day. Like, I have to pick which one I'm saving. I can't save all of them.
Mhm.
I'm like, I can't be everywhere once. And
We
he's
just-
like, do you like even when I'm doing good? Then, how bad do you feel? And
You
it's
just-
like, whoa, like
you just pitched the next Rocksteady Superman meets Mass Effect game. Let's do it.
that's a
You
good
just
idea.
you just pitched it right there, dude. Superman plus Mass Effect.
10 different
Pick.
missions. You can only do one.
Yeah. Save the school bus full of children. Save the old lady. Save the cat.
I think for me, another thing, and this is, I'm going to bring it more to movies. I think it's a little more difficult to see with games because I think coding is something that's a little scary for people.
Okay.
But I feel like independent movies can also be welcoming to newcomers. We've got like Paranormal Activity. We've got like what was it? Hardcore Henry. These are movies made like with not crazy ass gear.
Clerks.
This is Clerks. Like these are movies that were made with like a point and shoot. You know, a handheld, like a cell phone. At this point, there was a more known director that made a handheld.
Soderbergh.
Yeah.
Steven
Yeah.
Soderbergh.
And he made a movie with a phone camera.
Yeah, an
iPhone specifically. Yeah. And these are movies that are inspiring to people that are like, I could literally just grab my phone and start making a movie now. You know, it's
that touched on something. So that interview I was talking about with Nick Cage
Mhm.
with GQ, he was working with what director was it? I forget what director it was, but he was talking with them. He's like, "There's a Super 8 moment." He would keep saying like, "You have that Super 8 moment," and he's like, "Oh no, it was Raising Arizona."
oh yeah.
I think, and he's like, he auditioned for that role so many times, and eventually they're just like, yeah, we'll take you. Like there was something that worked for them. They're like, you make us laugh. And he's like, he kept saying like, this is a Super 8 moment. And it's like when you're doing something with like, it feels like you're in the backyard with your friends making a movie. You're doing it because you love it.
Mm-hmm.
And there were points in that film where he's like, we were just fucking doing this because we love this, and it was just weird, and we're just trying shit. And that touches on something I like, is that a lot of these things embrace the weird. I think I might have mentioned it a little bit earlier, but with movies, I go there. That's where I'm like, I want to see the crazy ideas. There was a movie called Rubber. Have you heard of this movie?
Mm-mm.
It's a movie about a killer.
Flubber?
No, Rubber.
It's a sequel. The adult film.
Killer tire.
It's a killer tire. It just starts rolling, and it looks at you, and you explode if it doesn't like you. And it has a girlfriend, and there's a plot, and it doesn't say a goddamn thing. But this tire goes, and it's like a movie. And I'm like, what the fuck? I saw that, and I was like, what the fuck? This is so crazy.
It works.
It worked. I'm like, if that can work, anything can work. Even if on some level there's a story. I'm like,
How do you
I
write
love
that shit?
There's another movie called The FP, and it's literally like one of those step up like turf war dance stuff, but it's with DDR, underground DDR, and they like fight to the death.
I feel like,
I love that. Like
specifically with Rubber. If you came up to me, you're like, make a movie about a tire that kills people. To me, it's like a maze. It's unsolvable. It's like I have no fucking idea where to even start writing this thing. Like how to even start. So like someone has to come up with this idea and then start writing the idea. Like it's
Well,
not
like,
even.
if you think about just the pitch of Terminator, like talk just that pitch. Don't think about what we've seen of it.
Yeah.
Just the pitch. Like, okay, I want this killer robot to come after this girl. Why? Because she ends up having
In the future.
The future, she has a baby with that leads a resistance. Okay, who does she have the baby with?
A soldier from the future.
A soldier from the future that her son sent back in time. What? It'll work.
And
Trust
you're
me.
immediately
and
lost.
It becomes the next fucking like. And I'm like, wait, it gets better. We're gonna make a second one. This time, the kid is gonna be led by him, and he sends himself back in time to save himself. Guys, we're gonna make this an action movie, not a horror movie. I'm like, what? Like, how do you? If they made it happen,
but
so I'm like, that is possible.
That's like the same. Back to the Future regarded best screenplay in USC Film School. When they try to pitch it, you know that whole, what if you go back in time and killed your mom before you were born? Would you survive? What if you go back in time and your mom wanted to fuck you? That was the pitch, and no one wanted to buy it, dude. Disney wanted to buy it, but they said you can't have the mom fall in love with the son, and they're like, no, we got to like
That's
keep
the
it as
reason.
it is, yeah. And no one wanted to buy it. It's one of the best movies of all time.
Such a good concept.
I love that though. Like you see Hobo with a Shotgun. That's another great one. Like I just seeing a lot of these, like they're campier obviously in a lot of these, but they push the boundaries.
Yeah.
And I feel like those guys and gals that push the boundaries balance out the mild or the middle. Like there's like I think a spiciness to all art, and there's like the mild, the medium, the super hot. That's the adult section, and then there's the muy caliente.
And then there's just triple X hot.
So I like that. Like, and then you obviously, I think going outside of our own culture. Like I was reading something recently about an old letter that Scorsese wrote, but it was like when he was super young, and he was like, just him venting about like at that time how people were criticizing certain art for being so different. And he's like, if you're not willing to embrace different, how are you gonna like open yourself up to new ideas?
Right.
And at that point, where do you stop? Like, how do you like until you're just like, why are we even doing this in the first place? And I'm like, yeah, like I see a lot of foreign films just to like explore how other cultures approach a genre. Like seeing a Bollywood movie like changes my way of like viewing how films can be made. Seeing anime or like a Japanese film or just a French film even. Seeing French anime is weird. Like that threw me up. There's certain tropes that you expect but you don't see it. And it's like it's discovery. So
with you, real quick, with you talking about the spicy levels, I think indie games specifically, bring difficulty into the game very, very well compared to like Uncharted, where you fucking die in one shot. In this game, it's like you're trying to do that challenge. In Hyper Light Drifter, you know the what is it, 500 chain, 800 chain challenge, where the simplicity is like it's just a timed thing. Like you just have to keep hooking onto chains. I'm assuming, I don't know really what it does, but that difficulty is there, and it just does so well because it doesn't feel like Uncharted, where like I start in a mission and immediately just get murdered. You know, it's not like that cheap difficulty.
Yeah.
It feels
difficulty.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like I failed because the game sucks. No, I failed because I didn't do it right. Yeah,
I disagree.
Well, specifically
the
with that
physics of that is weird. That physics of that dash is weird.
Well, like you look at, I think another thing is like you immerse yourself in whatever the physics and I don't know if that's a indie game thing. I'm trying to get at like I'm talking about that Yoshi's Island when I was watching him play. He just knows that game, and I feel like with a lot of indie games, the passion of the fan playing, and this could again be about any game at this point. I don't know, so I'm just kind of talking.
I feel like it happens more often though with an indie game.
With it, yeah, possibly I could see that. Like with a platformer, maybe I don't know. But what my thought was when a fan is passionate about a game so much so that they immerse themselves in that game front and back, they just know it. They know how everything operates. They know how the game will operate with them, and you just have like this connection. I don't know if that's an indie thing, but a thought.
No, I think it's good.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a little moment to talk about what our thoughts were on that and what we enjoyed.
Yeah, because we're all still kind of like on a good indie high. from PAX.
I mean, yeah. I don't know if Octopath is indie, but it is old school. It is
Yeah.
paying an homage to older styles, and I'm enjoying that. Where it's like it's that old feel.
It
but
just failed at the
it's
story.
refreshing. So
Failed significantly. On
I don't
the
give a
story.
shit. Hold B to skip. I'm just glad I can do that all the time. I don't give a fuck.
I like that. That's your
I
motto.
do it.
Hold B to skip.
Hold B to skip. That's our new podcast.
And so instead of you just dropping it, you hold B.
If you want to skip this podcast, just hold B to skip. Go to the next episode.
Guys on the keyboards.
Guys, where can people find you?
They can find me at the Fulio365 on Instagram, and then the Fulio all other social media.
At the last bosses everywhere.
You can find me at Kuja Prime. You can find us all at the Weekly DLC. Please let us know if you have any thoughts, anything you want to share with us. We always love to hear from fans. And until next time, we'll
DLC.
You later.